Hi and welcome back to my channel, Magic Wishing Starr. Okay, so I thought I would do a little what I look like when I'm going out in quarantine. You know, minus the ears and lipstick, but yeah. So I was tagged by a couple of my friends. I was tagged by Shelby at Bibbidi Bruener and Christina at Playdates and Travels. And it's taken me probably a couple weeks now to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So there are 19 questions about quarantine and what we've been doing, and just gives you a little update on like what we've been up to, what I've been up to, and just like a little more about me so you get to know me. So let me get started. My favorite Disney movie is Cinderella, and I think I've had it on 2 times during quarantine. I don't know if I even watched it completely. I put it on in the background all the time just because I like to hear it. I like to hear the music. I like to hear what they're saying. And so I think I only had it on a couple times. My favorite movies, and kind of the same thing. I'll stop and I'll watch it and then I'll get busy doing something, but I'll have it on in the background. So I always watch the Harry Potter movies. I watch Dirty Dancing, Grease 2. Those are my favorites. Oh, and my favorite movie, because I love to fall asleep to this, I've done this for years, is Sleepless in Seattle. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. It probably is my favorite movie of all times. I would be in Disneyland. I would be in Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland, and I've only been to Disney World, and I thought it was time that I should go, and I want to go, so that's the one place I would pick, the one park I would pick right now. So kind of related to my previous answer, I had talked to my husband about taking a trip to Disneyland. This would have been my first trip to Disneyland, and I really wanted to go for his birthday, which was April 28th. So I wanted the 2 of us to go, even if it was just for a long weekend, to go to Disneyland and, you know, maybe see what else we could find. We talked about maybe going, you know, north or south in California, maybe stopping somewhere else along the way. So we were toying with that idea until all this happened, and so we were just about to. I had contacted a travel agent, and then I just put a stop to it. So we didn't pull the trigger before all this happened. Okay, so if you saw one of my previous videos, I said I don't ride roller coasters. Don't try and get me to ride a roller coaster, because I'm not going to do it. But one ride that I always have to ride, I like it. It's like, for me, this ride is always a ride of, you know, like, okay, let's get a little downtime, let's take a break, usually get like a nice little breeze going through there. I love the People Mover. So I think if they said, okay, you go to the park today, but you can only ride one ride, I think I would ride the People Mover, because you get on there and it takes you around, you know, a good part of the park, not the whole park, but you get to see a lot of the park from there. You get to see the castle, you get to see Tomorrowland, you get to see inside Space Mountain. I think that it's really one of my favorite rides. It is, I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of my favorite rides. So I'm going to do this into 2 parts because I think if it was for breakfast, I would say I have to go back to 1900 Park Fair for the supercalifragilistic breakfast at the Grand Floridian. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So I remember even the guy who was making the omelets, he said, "Are you ready to have the best omelet you've ever had in your life?" And I thought, really? Well, it was really good. And then just everything was so good. And I got to have the strawberry soup. Is that what it was called? Strawberry soup? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's strawberry soup. But to me, it tastes more like, almost like a smoothie. I thought it was good. And so the second part would be for dinner. My sister and I, she's the one who went on the last Disney trip with me. We loved and could not stop talking about the pot roast from the 50s Primetime Cafe at Hollywood Studios. It was so good. So that would be the dinner that I choose. Okay, again, I can't just pick one. I would pick Rice Krispie treats and I would pick popcorn. So I don't really have any Disney scents, any Disney candles. I guess the scent that I could think of that I relate to with Disney World is when I'm walking down Main Street and you go past the confectionery or the bakery. I don't know the name of it, but you smell all the sweet goodness that's coming out of there, and it just, for a second, it stops me in my tracks and I have to go, oh, that smells so good. So I do like sweet smells. I like fruity smells, and I like, florals. I like a little bit of everything, but this is the one that I have been burning the most. And unfortunately, whenever I burn it, then I'm like, I have to have some chocolate. So it's called Hot Cocoa Cream from Bath and Body Works. I don't remember if I got it this year or last year, but I really just started burning it right now, and it smells so good. Oh, it's like a hot chocolate. So actually, my husband and I went to go see Onward the weekend that it opened. So we saw it, and then of course, as soon as it streamed onto Disney Plus, or became available on Disney Plus, we streamed it, and we love it. It was, at the movies, I think, the first time, especially at the end, of course I was crying. I think like other people probably were at the end. It's a touching story about, siblings, and I like it. So one movie that I recently reconnected with was the Goofy movie, and I watched it with my husband and my son, and they loved it too. I think that we were all laughing like it was the first time we'd seen it in such a long time. We forgot how good it was. And for me, one of the first movies I saw when quarantine was The Swiss Family Robinson, and I forgot how much I liked that movie. I used to watch it all the time when I was younger. And then one of the big surprises for me was National Geographic. I am enjoying that so much. So I watched the Jane, I think it's called Jane, and then I watched something on Amelia Earhart. I've been watching all the like the migration one. I watched the one with the elephants and the one with the dolphins, and I really love watching National Geographic. So I've spent quite a bit of time doing that. I would choose Tiana. And the reason I choose Tiana is because she is a motivated woman who would kick my butt. So she would be like, okay, we're not going to spend this quarantine just lying around, moping, depressed, you know, wondering what we can do. She'd be like, no, let's get this all done. Let's get organized. Let's get all these things that you've been putting off done. She'd be like, you know what? We can do this. Let's go. And then we're going to have beignets later on. I was so looking forward to seeing Mulan, and I am still looking forward to seeing Mulan. I can't wait to see it. I already had planned what my outfit was going to be, what purse I was going to wear, because I have, you know, I am a big Mulan fan. So I was very much looking forward to it, and I can't wait for it to come out. I don't know when it's coming out, but when it does, I will be there. So I guess I kind of pulled a Mulan. I like to think of it as more, I pulled a Britney. Britney, when was it? 2007, 2008. Okay, so my sister has decided she's going gray. And, you know, you have to go to the salon, it's a lot of upkeep, and so she's like, why don't you do it too? And there's a part of me that's like, I should do it. I can do this. I wouldn't mind. You know, there's a part of me that thinks, okay, yes, you're gonna look older. People might think you look older. But then I thought, you know what, I really don't care. And then I decided my hair was longer, and I thought, you know, if I cut it shorter, then it won't be that much for the gray to grow out. And so I grabbed the scissors and I started cutting, because I had cut it myself before. I've cut it myself. And with curly hair, you can hide mistakes. So I cut it. And I cut it, I think, a little shorter than what I meant to cut it. So then my stylist, he moved away a few years ago. And so it's been so hard for me to find somebody to do my hair the way I like it. And I found somebody that he recommended, and you know, by that time, she said, well, you didn't do too bad for most of it, but there were some sections she said, oh yeah, it's messed up. And so she fixed it, but she said, all you can do right now is let it grow out. She said, and please don't cut it anymore. So I've been letting it grow back out. So my hair, I have not cut. I just dyed it. And honestly, I didn't dye it very well, because there's probably some sections here, under here, somewhere in the back that I missed. And so they're still gray. But I did cut my husband's hair, and I cut my son's hair. And I was really, really happy that my son went to work, and some of his coworkers said, where did you get your hair cut? You know, and he said, oh, my mom did it. And they were like, wow, is she a professional hairstylist? And I'm like, I'm a professional. No, I'm not. But I like it. It was a good compliment. Yes, I feel like I'm always in a creative mode. I'm always thinking about things I could make, things I could do. And so, one of the things I've been wanting to do, but I haven't had a chance, because honestly, I've been working this whole time. So I had to, you know, work a full day. And then, even though I'm saving time from not having a commute, I mean, it's still working 8 hours during the day like you normally would. And then, in the evening, I would, you know, I had some projects, making some cards and working on my planner. I made this. It's here's my bow holder. I sewed that. I made some ears. And I want to do some more painting. So that is what I have been doing as far as creatively. I think I would want Bullseye as my sidekick to hang out with during quarantine. He is kind of like a dog in some ways, because he's just gonna hang out with you and kind of be your best friend, and then you know, he can sit there and have some puffed Cheetos with you, and then you guys can go for a ride in the afternoon. You'd be like, ride like the wind, Bullseye, and we can just take off, and other people are riding bikes and I'd be riding Bullseye. So that sounds good. I've been watching some shows that probably have been out for a long time and I've never seen them before. So I've been watching Tia and Tamara. So I think that series ended like in 2013 or something like that. But I've been enjoying watching that. And then also 90 Day Fiancé and Married at First Sight. So those are the TV shows that I have been enjoying. I don't think I've really been watching, well, I mean, from Disney, I've been watching like that new one. I think it's called something to do with props. And then also like the Imagineering one. I like that one. I guess those are the only shows that I've really been watching from Disney. I really think that Cinderella would handle quarantine best, because I really don't think they let her out much. So they probably just let her out to like go get the groceries, go whatever, run your errands, and get right back home. And then they make her stay at home. And so all she could do is like cook and clean. So I feel like quarantine. Yeah. I think this would be the work of Lady Tremaine. Because if you saw Cinderella 3, she steals the fairy godmother's wand and she basically just turns the whole world upside down, and so this is it. I'm not really reading anything. I have honestly not read something for a long time. I was big into Audible, so for probably a couple of years now I have listened to all my books on Audible and I love them. And right now I don't have the subscription just because I was trying to keep costs down, but I am re-listening to a lot of my books and I just enjoy it. I have it on in the background sometimes when I'm working. I have it on when I'm, cleaning, or I like to listen to it in the car, like when I would driving to work. So I like Audible. I think the song that I keep finding myself singing right now during quarantine, because I've been cleaning and, taking things out and organizing them, and I am finding things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had that, or I forgot I bought that. And so I think it would be, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl? A girl who has everything. Yep. And another reason I say that is because you're like, look at this. Seriously. Look at all these keys. But yet, I was one of how many thousands of people fighting to get a Star Wars key on Shop Disney the other day. Did I get one? No. Do I need one? No. But did I want one? Yes. Yes, I did. So, that was why my song is... I don't even know the name of the song, but you know which song that is. So, here in Texas, especially in my county, they have been probably one of the most lenient in all of North Texas as far as restrictions on stores closing, restaurants, everything. So we self-isolated, I think more, or were quarantined, self-quarantined more than what our county even recommended. I tried to only go out to the grocery store once every couple weeks. Everything was still pretty much open. Not everything, but a lot of things that you'd be surprised were still open. We could still get food, from takeout or from a restaurant, curbside anytime. And then they just recently decided they were opening everything back up. So as of last Friday, all stores and malls and restaurants, hair salons, I think gyms maybe, those are all opened back up with the conditions that they are using safety procedures and that people are maintaining social distance. They're not enforcing masks. I still wear mine, but it's not a requirement. So I feel like in a lot of ways things are trying to get back to normal here, but I don't feel like it's back to normal. So I am still being cautious. I hope you all are being cautious and safe. And I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more in what I've been up to. I will talk to you soon. Have a magical day.